Are you over 70 and feel like your muscles are slowly shrinking, your energy fading, and your metabolism tiptoeing out of control? Even though you're eating healthy and staying active, here's what's really going on inside your body. As we age, our muscles become less responsive to the usual triggers for growth: protein intake, hormonal cues, insulin dynamics, and nutrient timing. This phenomenon is often called sarcopenia, and it matters deeply, not just for strength, but for mobility, metabolic health, insulin sensitivity, and longevity. Imagine your muscle tissue as a factory that needs raw materials, energy, and a foreman telling workers to build. With aging, the foreman, hormonal signaling like mTOR, insulin growth factors, becomes less effective. The raw materials, amino acids from protein, are less efficiently used. The energy supply, metabolic rate, mitochondrial function, dips. The result? The factory slows down, muscle mass declines, fat tends to accumulate, insulin resistance creeps in, energy flags, and with all of that, your longevity, vitality, and quality of life suffer. What most people focus on instead are the visible symptoms: weaker arms, flabby legs, slower walks. But the root cause, the reason the factory is slowing, is deeper. That root cause has multiple parts: reduced protein quality and digestion with age, less efficient amino acid signaling, especially leucine, hormonal shifts, declining testosterone, IGF-1, rising cortisol, impaired insulin and mitochondrial function, poorer nutrient timing, and often low-grade chronic inflammation messing with muscle repair. Today we are going to look at a surprising solution: a seed-based protein that works even better than eggs for older adults building muscle. Why seed-based protein? Because advancements in plant proteins have improved digestibility and amino acid profile. Because eggs, while very good, may not hit the meal threshold of leucine and digestibility in older adults the way we once thought. Because when your metabolic engine is changing after 70, you need smarter strategies, not just more of the same. Here are the key takeaways we're going to cover: how aging alters muscle protein synthesis, insulin and hormonal signaling, and why simply eating more eggs might not be enough. Why protein quality, digestion speed, and the leucine threshold matter, especially after 70. What the research shows about plant V's animal proteins in older adults, and how a seed protein can outperform eggs under the right conditions. When to use that seed protein, how much, how often, and how to align it with your lifestyle and hormone health, how to integrate this into your broader strategy of metabolic health, good sleep, sensible carbs, resistance work, liver support, hormonal balance. Finally, how to monitor your results and refine your approach so you're not just doing more protein, but doing smarter protein for your age and physiology. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every week for people who are serious about optimizing their health naturally in midlife and beyond. So let's dive into insight number 1 and start by looking at why eggs, while a great traditional choice, may not deliver muscle-building results in older adults the way we assume. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you cross 70. The machinery that once turned every meal and every workout into stronger, leaner tissue begins to slow down. This process is called anabolic resistance. It means your muscles are no longer as sensitive to the normal growth signals from protein and movement. You could eat the same meal that once built muscle in your 40s, and now it barely moves the needle. To understand why, imagine your muscle cells as a set of doors that open when amino acids knock. In youth, those doors swing wide open at the slightest tap, but with age, the hinges rust. You knock harder and fewer doors open. That rust is the combination of lower insulin sensitivity, diminished blood flow, hormonal decline, and subtle inflammation that interferes with the mTOR pathway, the key molecular switch that tells your body, build muscle now. Now, insulin is not just about blood sugar. It is a powerful anabolic messenger. When you eat, insulin helps shuttle amino acids into muscle cells where they can be turned into new proteins. But aging muscles often stop listening to insulin. Think of it like a radio losing signal. The message is sent, but the receiver barely hears it. The result is that protein synthesis drops, even if you're eating enough. Add to that hormonal shifts, lower testosterone, estrogen, and growth hormone, and the situation compounds. Cortisol, the stress hormone, tends to rise, and that makes your muscles even more resistant to growth. Your mitochondria, the engines that fuel every contraction, also decline in number and efficiency, meaning less energy for repair. The research is clear. Older adults can still build muscle, but they need a stronger signal to flip the switch. That means higher quality protein, better timing, and targeted resistance exercise. One study found that increasing the leucine content of a meal by as little as 1 to 2 grams can reignite muscle protein synthesis in older adults who were otherwise non-responsive. That is a small change, but physiologically it is huge. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine lighting a campfire. When you are young, a few sparks and a handful of twigs are enough. At 70, the wood is damp. You need more kindling, more oxygen, and a longer burn to get the same flame. Protein works the same way. The kindling is the amino acids, especially leucine. The oxygen is blood flow and insulin sensitivity. The flame is your muscle's ability to respond. So the goal is not to simply eat more protein, but to eat the right kind of protein that delivers the amino acids your aging muscles recognize most efficiently. That is why, as we will see, certain seed proteins outperform eggs in older adults. They deliver not only the amino acids, but also the anti-inflammatory and metabolic compounds that keep those cellular doors open. Now, we will explore what happens to digestion and amino acid absorption after 70 and why your body's ability to use even high-quality proteins like eggs begins to change in ways that most people never realize. Here's what's really going on inside your digestive system as you age. The machinery that once broke down protein with precision and speed begins to slow, not because you are doing anything wrong, but because several physiological systems start losing efficiency together. Let us start with stomach acid. In your younger years, your stomach produces strong hydrochloric acid that unravels protein molecules, exposing them to digestive enzymes like pepsin. After 70, stomach acid levels often decline by 50% or more. When that happens, the first step in protein digestion weakens. Larger protein fragments leave the stomach undigested, and your small intestine struggles to extract individual amino acids. The result, even if you eat enough protein, your bloodstream receives fewer usable amino acids for muscle building. Then comes enzyme activity. The pancreas releases proteases, enzymes that finish breaking protein into amino acids. But aging slows pancreatic function, and this lowers the enzyme output. Imagine trying to cut a steak with a dull knife. That is what your gut experiences when enzyme production decreases. Blood flow to the gut also declines, which limits how well nutrients are absorbed once broken down. Reduced gut motility and microbiome diversity further complicate the picture. When the beneficial bacteria that help regulate digestion and inflammation start to thin out, the lining of your intestine becomes less efficient at transporting nutrients into your bloodstream. Now, eggs are often considered the gold standard of protein, and that reputation is well deserved. They have all 9 essential amino acids, including leucine, which triggers muscle synthesis. However, studies have shown that as people age, the digestion rate and leucine absorption from egg protein slow down. Your digestive tract may simply not release the amino acids fast enough to reach the muscle-building threshold in the blood. Here is a simple analogy. Picture your muscles as a sponge and amino acids as water. When you are young, the sponge is dry and absorbent. It soaks up every drop. As you age, that sponge becomes stiff. Even if you pour more water, it does not absorb as easily. What you need is not just more water, you need water that penetrates the sponge faster and deeper. This is where seed proteins begin to shine. Certain seed-derived proteins, like those from pumpkin, hemp, and chia, have smaller peptides and naturally occurring enzymes that make them easier to digest. Some also contain bioactive compounds that soothe the gut lining, improving absorption. Research comparing different protein sources in older adults shows that when digestion and absorption efficiency are factored in, these seed proteins deliver amino acids to the bloodstream faster and maintain higher levels for longer periods than eggs. Another advantage of seed proteins is their alkalinity. While animal proteins can create a mild acid load that may increase calcium loss and muscle breakdown, seed proteins help maintain a more neutral internal environment. That matters because muscle protein synthesis functions best when your body is not fighting acid stress or inflammation. So when we talk about building muscle after 70, the goal is not only what you eat, but also how well you absorb it. The most expensive protein or the best whole food source means little if your digestive system cannot turn it into amino acids your muscles can use. Now we will look at the surprising science behind seed proteins themselves, how compounds within pumpkin, hemp, and chia seeds can outperform eggs in muscle recovery, hormone balance, and metabolic resilience. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you consume seed proteins instead of traditional animal sources. Unlike eggs, which provide amino acids alone, seed proteins deliver a complete metabolic package: amino acids plus antioxidants, minerals, and plant compounds that directly enhance the muscle building process in aging adults. Let us start with pumpkin seed protein. It is exceptionally rich in leucine, arginine, and glutamic acid. Leucine is the amino acid that flips the mTOR switch, the master regulator of muscle protein synthesis. Arginine increases nitric oxide production, which widens blood vessels and improves nutrient delivery to muscles. Glutamic acid supports the gut lining, reducing inflammation and enhancing amino acid absorption. One study comparing pumpkin seed protein to egg white protein found that pumpkin seeds maintained higher plasma amino acid levels for a longer duration, meaning your muscles stay in an anabolic or building state longer. Then there is hemp protein. Hemp contains edestin, a highly digestible protein that resembles the structure of human plasma proteins. This allows hemp protein to be absorbed and utilized efficiently, even in older adults with sluggish digestion. Hemp is also a natural source of omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, and zinc, all of which improve muscle function, nerve communication, and recovery. In addition, its antioxidant compounds, like lignanamides, reduce oxidative stress in muscle cells, keeping them responsive to growth signals. Chia seed protein adds another unique layer. It provides complete amino acids plus fiber, alpha-linolenic acid, and natural polyphenols that lower inflammation. Because inflammation blunts mTOR signaling, these compounds indirectly amplify your muscle-building response. One clinical trial in older adults demonstrated that combining resistance training with plant-based proteins rich in polyphenols improved lean mass gain and reduced markers of oxidative stress more effectively than an equivalent dose of animal protein. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine two builders repairing an old house. The first builder brings only wood, the amino acids. The second builder brings wood, nails, glue, and a blueprint, the amino acids plus antioxidants, minerals, and anti-inflammatory tools. Which builder finishes stronger, faster, and more efficiently? That is the difference between egg protein and seed protein after 70. Seed proteins also affect your hormones. The healthy fats in pumpkin, chia, and hemp seeds support testosterone and estrogen balance by providing cholesterol precursors for hormone synthesis. Zinc and magnesium from these seeds are cofactors in hundreds of enzymatic reactions that regulate muscle contraction, energy production, and sleep quality, all vital for recovery. What the research shows is that older adults consuming balanced plant-based proteins with high leucine content, especially from seeds, demonstrate similar or greater increases in muscle protein synthesis than those consuming animal protein when total intake and timing are matched. This is because seed proteins not only supply the amino acids, but also enhance the environment in which muscles grow, reduced inflammation, improved insulin sensitivity, and better blood flow. Now, we will look at when to take these proteins, how timing interacts with your hormones and insulin rhythms, and why the right timing can make seed proteins outperform eggs even more dramatically in real-world muscle gain. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you time your protein intake correctly. Muscle growth is not only about how much protein you consume, but when your body is most ready to use it. After 70, timing becomes as critical as quantity. Think of your metabolism as a tide. It rises and falls throughout the day under the influence of hormones: insulin, cortisol, growth hormone, and testosterone. When these hormones are in the right rhythm, your body becomes more efficient at turning amino acids into new muscle tissue. When they are out of rhythm, much of that protein simply passes through without being fully utilized. In the morning, cortisol naturally rises to help you wake up, mobilize energy, and set your metabolism in motion. This is not the ideal time for a heavy protein meal because cortisol also promotes mild protein breakdown. However, combining moderate protein with some healthy fats, like a smoothie made with pumpkin or hemp seed protein, provides steady amino acids without spiking insulin too high. This stabilizes energy and sets up a stronger anabolic response later in the day. The best window for muscle protein synthesis often appears in the late morning to early afternoon. By then, cortisol has dropped, insulin sensitivity is higher, and blood flow to muscle tissue improves. This is when your body is most ready to receive and use amino acids for repair and growth. Consuming your main protein-rich meal here, especially after resistance exercise, maximizes your gains. Exercise acts like a key that unlocks the muscle doors we spoke about earlier. After even light resistance training, the muscle becomes a sponge for amino acids. Research shows that when protein, particularly high leucine sources like seed protein, is consumed within 60 minutes of exercise, muscle protein synthesis can double compared to eating at random times. That post-workout period is your body's prime time for muscle repair. Evening timing also matters. As the day ends, growth hormone secretion peaks during deep sleep. Taking a smaller protein dose, like a chia protein drink or a hemp protein pudding before bed, provides a slow release of amino acids overnight. This sustains muscle repair while you sleep and prevents the nighttime breakdown of tissue that often accelerates with age. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you are watering a plant. Watering too early when the soil is still wet, or too late when the sun is down, wastes water. But watering at the right time, when the soil is dry and the roots are ready, leads to growth. Your muscle works the same way. Timing protein intake around exercise, energy demand, and hormonal cycles ensures every gram of protein does its job. Seed proteins fit beautifully into this rhythm because they digest steadily without causing bloating or insulin spikes. Their blend of amino acids, fiber, and healthy fats delivers a slow, sustained release, ideal for older adults with slower digestion. Pumpkin and hemp protein are particularly effective after exercise, while chia protein suits the evening recovery phase. In short, aligning your protein intake with your body's hormonal and metabolic rhythms can transform average nutrition into an optimal growth strategy. It is not about eating more, it is about eating smart. Next, we will explore how seed proteins interact with your liver metabolism, inflammation, and cortisol, and why supporting your liver is a hidden but essential key to rebuilding muscle and maintaining metabolic health after 70. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you consume seed proteins that nourish your liver. The liver is the body's central metabolic laboratory. Every amino acid from your food passes through it before reaching your muscles. If that laboratory is sluggish or inflamed, your body cannot efficiently convert protein into new muscle tissue, no matter how much you eat. With age, the liver often becomes burdened with accumulated fat, oxidative stress, and inflammation. This state, known as hepatic insulin resistance, blocks the liver's ability to regulate glucose and amino acid metabolism. It also raises cortisol, your primary stress hormone, which breaks down muscle proteins into amino acids to fuel blood sugar production. Over time, this cycle weakens muscle, increases abdominal fat, and slows metabolism. Now, seed proteins such as pumpkin, hemp, and chia are rich in compounds that help restore liver function. Pumpkin seed protein contains antioxidants like vitamin E and phenolic acids that reduce oxidative stress inside liver cells. Hemp protein offers gamma-tocopherol and omega-3 fatty acids that calm inflammation and improve fat metabolism, preventing fatty liver buildup. Chia proteins contain alpha-linolenic acid and chlorogenic acid, which improve liver enzyme balance and enhance detoxification. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your liver as a busy airport where amino acids are passengers trying to catch flights to your muscles. If the airport is congested, flights are delayed, and fewer passengers arrive on time. When you clean up that airport, reducing inflammation, improving fuel flow, those amino acids reach their destinations efficiently. That is exactly how a well-supported liver helps you build muscle faster and more effectively. Another critical point is cortisol regulation. Elevated cortisol, common with aging and chronic stress, breaks down muscle and interferes with insulin sensitivity. Seed proteins help here as well. The magnesium in pumpkin and hemp seeds calms the adrenal response, lowering cortisol production. The tryptophan found in chia seeds supports serotonin synthesis, which improves mood and sleep, two natural cortisol regulators. A healthier liver also stabilizes blood sugar. When your blood sugar stays within a steady range, insulin remains balanced, allowing your body to direct amino acids toward repair instead of energy production. Research has shown that older adults with improved liver enzyme function and better glycemic control respond more effectively to protein intake, showing greater muscle retention and improved physical performance. There is another subtle but powerful mechanism. Seed proteins contain natural fiber, which binds to toxins and excess hormones in the digestive tract, reducing the burden on the liver. This frees the liver to focus on protein metabolism and fat regulation instead of constant detoxification. Over weeks and months, this translates into clearer energy, lower inflammation, and improved muscle response. In summary, supporting your liver is one of the most overlooked yet essential steps in building muscle after 70. You are not only feeding your muscles, you are empowering the organ that processes every gram of protein you consume. Seed proteins do double duty. They nourish your liver while supplying the amino acids your muscles crave. Next, we will move into how to combine movement, sleep, hydration, and nutrition into a daily rhythm that keeps your metabolism youthful, your hormones balanced, and your muscles strong for decades to come. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you structure your day around movement, nourishment, and recovery. Your body runs on rhythm, the rise and fall of hormones, energy demand, and repair signals that follow a daily cycle. After 70, these rhythms can drift, which leads to slower metabolism, weaker muscles, and greater fatigue. The goal is to bring these rhythms back into sync through consistent habits that keep your physiology operating like a well-tuned clock. Begin with morning movement. Light resistance exercise within the first hour after waking jumpstarts your metabolism, increases blood flow, and activates the molecular pathways that make your muscles more responsive to protein later in the day. Think of it as flipping the switch from maintenance mode to growth mode. Even 10 minutes of band work, chair squats, or light dumbbell curls can prime the body to use amino acids efficiently when you eat breakfast. Next comes hydration and the first meal. After overnight fasting, your body is dehydrated, and dehydration reduces protein synthesis by lowering blood volume and nutrient delivery. Start your day with water mixed with minerals like magnesium or a squeeze of lemon to support digestion and liver function. Then, a balanced breakfast of seed protein, such as a smoothie made with pumpkin or hemp protein, almond milk, and berries, provides the steady amino acid stream your muscles and liver need. Midday is your metabolic prime time. This is when insulin sensitivity peaks, cortisol declines, and your muscles are ready to receive nutrients. Schedule your main protein-rich meal here, ideally within 1 hour of resistance exercise or a brisk walk. Combining seed proteins with moderate carbohydrates like quinoa, lentils, or sweet potato enhances amino acid transport into the muscle cells. Include leafy greens or cruciferous vegetables to provide phytonutrients that assist in detoxification and reduce inflammation. Afternoon hours are ideal for recovery. Avoid overexertion, as excessive physical stress can spike cortisol and undo muscle gains. Instead, gentle stretching or a short nap helps balance hormones and preserve the gains from earlier activity. Cortisol naturally tapers toward evening, and your body begins shifting into repair mode. Dinner should be lighter yet rich in restorative nutrients. Chia protein pudding with almond milk or a small serving of baked salmon paired with steamed vegetables provides amino acids and omega-3 fatty acids for overnight repair. A small dose of slow-digesting protein before bed maintains an anabolic environment during sleep when growth hormone peaks. Sleep itself is the silent cornerstone of muscle health. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, repairs damaged muscle fibers, and clears out metabolic waste from the brain and liver. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted rest in a cool, dark room. Poor sleep, even for a few nights, raises cortisol, increases insulin resistance, and blunts the effects of protein and exercise. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as an orchestra. Protein, hormones, exercise, and rest are the instruments. When each plays at the right time, the result is harmony, stronger muscles, stable energy, and longevity. When timing is off, even a perfect instrument can sound dissonant. Building your daily rhythm aligns every instrument in that orchestra. Aging well is not about fighting time, it is about mastering timing. By pairing your protein intake, especially seed proteins, with structured movement, hydration, and recovery, you are restoring the natural rhythm that keeps your metabolism youthful. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you begin applying everything we discussed. You are not simply feeding muscle, you are reprogramming how your metabolism, hormones, and cells respond to the signals of growth and repair. After 70, the difference between decline and strength lies not in genetics or luck, but in understanding how your body's internal systems communicate with one another. We began by uncovering the truth about aging muscle. The real challenge is not a lack of effort or motivation, it is anabolic resistance, the blunted ability of your muscles to respond to protein and exercise. The fix is not more calories or longer workouts, it is smarter nutrition that speaks the same biochemical language your cells still understand. We explored why digestion and absorption slow with age, and how the gut becomes less capable of breaking down and transporting amino acids efficiently. Eggs remain a strong food, but for many older adults, they no longer meet the leucine threshold needed to trigger muscle synthesis. This is where seed proteins enter the picture, offering amino acids plus anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and hormone-supportive compounds that make the whole system work better. We saw how pumpkin, hemp, and chia proteins outperform eggs not only in digestibility, but also in the broader metabolic environment they create. They support the liver, reduce inflammation, stabilize cortisol, and enhance insulin sensitivity, all while providing the amino acids your body needs to build lean, resilient muscle. That combination is why seed proteins can outperform traditional animal proteins for muscle growth after 70. Timing emerged as a critical theme, aligning protein intake with hormonal and metabolic rhythms, morning activation, midday synthesis, evening recovery, turns nutrition into a powerful therapeutic tool. When you eat in sync with your body's circadian biology, every gram of protein works harder for you. Then we connected the dots to liver health. The liver is the control center that processes every amino acid and determines whether it becomes muscle or fuel. When you protect and nourish the liver with seed proteins, antioxidants, and minerals, you create a metabolic environment where muscle growth can actually happen. Finally, we looked at rhythm, your daily orchestration of movement, hydration, nutrition, and sleep. When each of these plays in harmony, you shift from surviving aging to mastering it. You reclaim the energy, strength, and mental clarity that once felt out of reach. Here is your challenge. For the next 2 weeks, replace one of your daily protein servings with a high-quality seed protein, pumpkin, hemp, or chia. Pair it with light resistance exercise and proper hydration. Track how your energy, digestion, and muscle tone respond. Small shifts practiced consistently are how real transformation begins. And remember this, your body does not lose its ability to build muscle. It only loses the right environment to do so. Give it the right signals at the right time with the right nutrition, and it will respond no matter your age.